Okay, this is the fourth and final video for test number 2 in Tanach. Okay, so the psukim which we worked on here, this is sheet number 6, by the way. So the psukim we were working on here are the psukim that appear in Dvarim, Perichet, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod. So chapter 8, verses 7, 8, 9, and 10, which speak about the beauty of Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so here we highlighted especially Pasuk Yud, the 10th Pasuk. V'yachalta v'savata, you'll eat and you'll be satisfied. Uveirachta es Hashem b'lakecha al ha'aretz hatova asher natan lach. And you're going to bless God for the beautiful land that He has given you. And it's this from this particular pasuk that we derive the mitzvah b'chat hamazon of benching after we eat. And that's what we're going to be working on now. So let's get the sheet up here for a second. And number 6. And here we go. Okay, so if we're looking at a koteret, at a title for this particular psukim, it's Eretz Tova. It's a good land, because if you look in the psukim again, you'll see that the word Eretz is repeated many, many, many times. Ki Hashem Elokecha b'yachal Eretz Tova, Eretz Nachle Mayim, B'kam Chet, Eretz Kita Usara, Eretz Hishem Uduvash, Eretz Shelos Kesecha B'Lechem, Eretz Hashav and Arbazel Meharan Choshet. So you have Eretz Tova repeated multiple times. So that is obviously the theme and the title of this particular group of psukim. Okay, the mitzvah that's included here is the mitzvah of Birchat Hamazon, of benching, as we said before. Now, we learned the Chizkuni, which is going to be an eye opener for us. He says again, the beginning of the set of psukim is Ki Hashem Elokecha, because God is bringing you to this land. And so he says as follows: V'shem amachas rov shafa tova shaba techatao. And maybe since you're coming to such a beautiful place, you'll have everything. You know, they'll have the malls and you'll have restaurants and everything else. And you're going to feel, I don't need God. I don't have to daven shachris mincha marav anymore. I don't have to appreciate everything that God did for me because I have everything. And again, that we know that plenty, when there's plenty, it breeds arrogance. It breeds, what do I have to do these mitzvot for? And that's what the Torah is warning you against. So that therefore, when we go ahead and we bench, it's not just that we're thanking God for the food. That's part of it. But what we're really doing is reconnecting with God regarding our entire relationship with God. And therefore, again, we only did question 3. According to the Chizkuni, what is the main purpose of Birchat Hamazon? To reestablish our connection to God, and not because we have plenty that we just start ignoring God. Question 4 we did not do. How does this help explain the theme of the second bracha in Birchat Hamazon? Because in Birchat Hamazon, the first bracha is Hazan Takol. We go ahead and we just thank God for the food. Very simple. The next bracha has nothing to do with food. We start to thank God for Eretz Kandatov Rachava, for Eretz Yisrael. That God, you took us out of Mitzrayim. That's nice of you, God. We have Brit Milah, we're very singular. We're learning Torah. What does that have to do with any food? And the answer is nothing. And the Birchat Hamazon is not just about thanking God for food, but when I have plenty, just to avoid being arrogant and forgetting about God, we thank God for many, many things in life. And that's why the second bracha, Birchat Hamazon, is chock full of our main connection to God. You see at Mitzrayim, learning Torah, physically, Brit Milah. We spent some time learning about Birchat Hamazon, and we said how many brachot are there total in Birchat Hamazon. So we said there are 4 brachot, and we said that when it comes to these brachot, 3 are midoraita from the Torah, and 1 was added on later, which we call midorabanan. It was added on later by the rabbis. And we explained as follows: the 3 midoraita is that the bracha number 1. Okay, the 3 midoraita. So bracha, we call it bracha A. Sorry, is what we call Birchat Hazan, which we thank God simply for the food. And this was composed by Moshe. The second bracha is what we call Birchat Haaretz. And this was composed by Yehoshua. We thank God for Eretz Yisrael. And the third bracha is what we call Bracha Yerushalayim. We thank God for the Beit HaMikdash of Bnei Yerushalayim Merakadosh Merav Yameinu. And this was composed by David and his son Shlomo. The one Mizrabanan came in much later, much later, and that was brought in the Rabbanan to commemorate the miracle of Beitar during the Bar Kokhba revolt. We learned how at first the Bar Kokhba revolt was very successful. Then, unfortunately, it failed. The city of Beitar turned into a massacre scene. The Gemara speaks of literally streams of blood flowing through the streets. They came back a year later to Beitar and they found something amazing, and that the bodies did not decay, and that they were able to bring them to a proper kfura, to a proper burial. And as a result, we went ahead and they added to the bracha, to the Birchat Hamazon, what we call the Birchat Hatov v'Hametiv. Right, who hated, who hated, who hated lano. And so that is a commemoration of this particular event. Again, in class, we gave a long explanation why this is so important. Okay, we said before that the first three brachos are from the Torah, and the fourth is D'Rabbanan. We do something in the Birchat Hamazon to show that after Bnei Yerushalayim, the Birchat Hamazon of the Torah ends. We're now starting a different phase. And what we do is we answer Amen to our own bracha. We say Bonei Brachamav Yerushalayim Amen. We don't normally do that. We don't answer Amen to our own bracha. But this is in order to show, okay, we have now finished the Oraita part, the Torah part of Birchat Hamazon. We continue on to the Rabbanan. We then learned about bracha achat me'ein shalosh. So bracha achat me'ein shalosh is an offshoot of Birchat Hamazon. We know that we do Birchat Hamazon. When we have bread. However, when we eat other things as well, there is a bracha achrona that we call bracha achat me'ein shalosh. So what are these other things? The things mentioned in the pasuk. Eretz chita usara, wheat and barley. But wheat and barley are two of the 5 grains. So it includes all the 5 grains of rye and spelt and oats as well. When we eat anything like that, we say a special bracha achrona, ending bracha. Gefen, meaning wine or grapes. Te'ina, figs. Rimon, pomegranate. Zeit shemen, talking about olives. And davash here does not mean bees' honey, but rather the honey of dates. So it's referring to dates. Whenever you eat any of those foods, we go back and we say a bracha, which is called bracha achat me'ein shalosh. So we analyze this bracha a little bit, and what we normally call it, what's called the vernacular, the way it's referred to, is usually al hamichya. But what is it? Al hamichya is as follows: where you take all the themes of Birchat Hamazon that we would normally say after eating bread, and we say them again in very short form when we eat any of the foods that I mentioned before. So again, if I just had a cookie, so I say Brochat Hashem Keinu Melech Haolam, start any bracha. Now Chamesh Midei Degam is one of the 5 grains. Say Ala Mechya ve'Ala Kalkula, and then I go to the Al Tenuvat Hasadeh. So I'm thanking God for food, and that is equal to the bracha of Hazan that we have in Benjay. Then I go on. I don't make a new bracha. It's all one bracha, which is very much the same language that we have in the second bracha, Birchat Hamazon, and Birchat Haaretz. And then I go on and say, which is very much a reflection of the bracha of Bonei Yerushalayim. Okay, for Shabbat or Rosh Chodesh, you add in something like I do in Benching, but only one little sentence. not the whole Ritzay, the whole Yalav Yavo. And then we end off Ki Ata Hashem Tov V'Meitiv Lakal Nodelech Ala Aretz, which is the bracha of Tov V'Meitiv. So that's why it's called bracha achat me'in shalosh. It's one bracha where we have within it the three, and then the Rabbanan, the four themes of Birchat Hamazon. And that's the bracha achona that I say on the various foods mentioned in the pasuk. And again, we'll go back to the pasuk one last time so that we see it. Grain, chita asara, but any of the 5 grains. Gefen, which is wine or grapes. Te'ina, figs, rimon, pomegranates. Zeit shemen, olives, davash means dates. So I said te'ina, figs, right? And davash is referring to dates. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed.